Next listener letter comes from Dan Glennon. Dan says, "Hey guys, keeping it short. If you could have any superpower, what would you choose and why? Think about it for a minute. It's actually a revealing question."
Okay.
Who wants to go first with this one?
So, I have a couple answers of this, all right? And so let me work through them. First of all,
mine is very straightforward, and people might not like it, or I guess people will like it because it's so me. But
all right, let me take a guess on you. Let me take a guess on you then first.
Okay, you probably know mine.
I have two guesses. I have two guesses. It's either A, the Sharingan, or B, Kizaru's Devil Fruit.
Okay, those are both close.
All right, so I wasn't there. So what is it?
Time manipulation, complete control over time.
I mean, that's insane.
Like light, space, time. Like, you were in the ballpark, but mine would be complete control over time. Yeah, so whatever I want to do with time, I can literally do it, and there's nothing. I don't have any limitations on it. There's no bullshit. Like I just completely can control time in every possible way.
It's broken. So I mean, obviously that's insane. Who wouldn't want that? For me. And I remember having this argument with somebody a long time ago, where when you'd have those nerd arguments of like who would beat who in a fight, right? And then like, let's just use Goku as an example, and then somebody would bring up like some character in Marvel that's like a super duper god that like opens and closes the universe and stuff. And it's like, well, they're not fighting if they just turn the universe off. Like that's not a fight. Yeah. I don't really care about that. That's just like you turn the universe off, cool. That's not so anyway. I don't think Saiyan is a superpower, but I like the idea of like being a Saiyan and like training and working and getting stronger and learning new techniques. Like that's really cool and like getting in the fights with other aliens or whatever. But I don't think Saiyan's a superpower. That said, recently I was like, you know what's just broken? Fucking, and I've been reading Bleach. The fucking Aizen's Kyoku Sugetsu. Like,
it's outrageous.
That is so outrageous. Like the perfect hypnosis is obviously time is even better because you can just redo things as much as you want to get your result. But perfect hypnosis is insane.
It's so fucking broken. I mean, so for people who don't know, Aizen's power in Bleach, the anime and the manga, is that he controls all 5 of your senses. And you don't really have to. There's really not anything you can do about it.
There really isn't.
He controls all 5 of your senses. So, and what that means, because I know when you just say it like that, it doesn't sound as ridiculous as it is. But when you put it into action, first of all, he's outrageously powerful without that ability. So let's just preface it with that. He is godly without ever using that ability. And there's an entire episode and manga panel dedicated to a character named Ichimaro Gin, which is one of Aizen's subordinates. It's dedicated to literally how strong Aizen is without using his actual abilities.
Yeah.
So when he uses his actual abilities, complete control over all 5 of your senses, he can make you believe that you are attacking someone else. He can make you believe that it's daytime when it's night. He can make you fucking jump off of a cliff and kill yourself. He can make you literally just straight kill yourself. You can't feel anything if he doesn't want you to. You can feel everything if he wants you to. You can't see anything if he doesn't want you to. You can see everything if he wants you to.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
It just goes to such an absurd degree. You know something I thought of recently? We've talked about this a bunch, but we talked about how Soifan, her Bankai was like, if she touches you twice in the same spot, like you die. Yes. And then she did that to Aizen, and he just was like, yeah, no, he like overpowered it, right? Because he's so much stronger than her.
My Ryetsu's just stronger than yours.
You know what I thought of the other day? What if that's not true? What if she just never touched them twice in the same spot?
We will never know. And that's what makes him so fucking ignorant, bro.
What if she actually just never touched them twice in the same spot, and what he said is not true?
Aizen has crumbled me so many times today. I've crumbled talking about this man so many times. He's my favorite villain in anime, by the way. Like, I love Aizen so much. I've crumbled so many times because of this man. I literally don't even know where to begin. Like, he's so ridiculous. The fact you even brought him up in this is like breaking me right now, because I think about shit like that all the time. Like, what if Soifan never even touched him? Not even once. Like, she doesn't know what the fuck she did.
She really doesn't.
The only person in that specific instance that saw what was really going on, if they were even like really paying attention, was Ichigo, because Ichigo was not under the effect of the complete hypnosis, because at the time he never saw Aizen release his sword. And that was the condition to activating it, is that if you ever saw him release his sword, you are forever. Like, it's just like
that's the other thing that's fucked up, is that like there's no like keeping it turned on. Like just like whenever he wants, like it just happens.
It's the same thing as the fourth Hokage. You know the fourth Hokage, Naruto's father.
Yep.
He has this thing where he could put a seal on you, and he can teleport to that seal at any point in perpetuity.
Yep.
Which was useful when they fought Obito at the end of the series because he was like, "Oh, that's still on your back," and he teleported the fucking Obito. Like, that is dumb. It's really dumb, but Aizen has the exact same thing. It's just the Japanese. They love that shit, I guess, the perpetuity nonsense. But yes, insane. Aizen's ridiculous. His power is one that I would definitely love to have. But the reason why I chose time is not just because it's overpowered, because I do want to kind of say, like, why I chose that. It's also because of real personal reasons, too. Like, I do live a good portion of my life thinking about the past, not necessarily regretting or resenting and stuff like that, but I do what every other human does, is think about, man, if this one thing was different, or if I got to see this person one more time because they are no longer with us. I think about stuff like that. Like, if I could just visit, if I can go back to when this was happening with my family, everything was great, everything, we all like were happy, and just all of these different points of my life that I would want to revisit just to experience the feeling again, not necessarily tamper with them and change them, even though I can't deny that I would for sure change some things. But there are moments in my life that I would just want to experience again. And like, you know, but that's the beauty of life, is that it just goes forward and we just have to have those memories. But with the time ability that I would have, I would be able to go back and relive certain things or change the way certain things played out, even save lives and stuff like that. And now, granted, I know for you people who love The Flash and know a lot about his comics and all that stuff, he does try often to go back in time and do things, and it just is disastrous.
It never works out right.
It never works out right. But my control over the entire, because that's not his power, is not really control over time. His power is just like, he's fucking fast as shit. He can access the Speed Force, but he doesn't literally control all of time the way I want the control of time. So I would not have that. I'm just saying I would be above that. I would not have that same butterfly effect issue where, like, oh, I kicked over a chair in 1917 and then literally all black people are erased from existence 2,000 years later. Like, that doesn't, like, that just wouldn't work like that. It wouldn't be.
Yeah, perfect control over time would be insane. I mean, it's so hard to pick, like, what is the one. Like, for me, it's if the world, if these powers exist and there's like other things to fight, like I would want to have, I would want to have like a Saiyan-like ability, because I want to actually fight them. I don't want to just like time erase them from existence. But if it's just like normal life and you happen to have a superpower, complete control over time would be awesome. Perfect hypnosis would be awesome. Yeah,
because mine I didn't even think about fighting, because I just assumed I have this ability. No one else has any abilities.
Yeah.
And but if I have to fight and all that, I mean, my ability is still ridiculous for that. But I said it without the thought. Mine is like so sentimental. It's like, it's overpowered, but it's not just me being overpowered because that's all I like. It's more so like, it's overpowered because I do like that, but also because it has a real function. I could have easily said, because one of the other things that I really, really like is the ability to fly. Like, I think that would be so fucking cool, or like teleport and stuff like that. But I can't do the sentimental things I want to do with those powers.
So I guess I'll also say for the time thing, if utilizing that you could, you know, stop yourself from aging, then
I would 100% be above.
Then that would be, I would change my answer to that. Otherwise, I would say, like, you know, I'm going to use the word perfect again because I'm liking using it. Like, perfect immortality, whereas, like, even if the Earth exploded, I'd still be alive. I'd just be floating in space, because who wants to die?
Oh, so you actually wouldn't mind a world where you're just floating?
No, as long as I was alive. Eventually, I'll fucking float to another planet. Like, if you just lived absolutely... I remember... I talked about this on stream a while ago, and, like, people brought up... Because I was saying that, like, more than anything, like, you know, I don't want to die, right? And who does? But, you know, because I don't believe in things like heaven or whatever, like, I really mean it. Because, like, some people think, you know, they don't want to die, but they also think when they die, you know, they're going to go to another realm, and I don't think that's true. So anyway, so people brought up, like, you know, I wouldn't want to live forever, because then you'd have to watch all the people you love die, and, like, that would suck and everything. And as, like, kind of messed up as it sounds, and it's awful, eventually you just would get over it. Like, obviously you would remember it, and it would be pain, but the term time heals all wounds is kind of true, especially if you know there's no end to your, like, eventually as sad as it, like, if somebody that you love in your life died, of course, you always miss them and there's always a hurt there, but you have moved on with your life and live your life and go to work every day. You don't live in the crippling state of emotions you were in the day they died or the week after they died or the month eventually. And so a million years from now, like, yes, it would still suck. You probably still remember your parents and would still hurt, but, you know, so much time would have passed.
I have something to say about this. Have you ever seen the show Invincible?
No, so that and The Boys were like up there on the list, and I want to watch them back to back. Obviously, you guys know I've seen all The Boys yet, but I haven't had a chance to see Invincible yet.
I want you to watch Invincible. I think it's only like 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's on Amazon and Prime, right?
Yeah, they're not crazy long or anything like that, but there's something I really want to say, but you are hitting the nail on the head already, so I'm just going to expand on what you are saying.
Okay. Okay.
So you said if you lived forever, it would suck, yes, that your parents died and your family died, stuff like that, but eventually you get over it. I agree with you because of the idea that after a while, those deaths would have been such a small portion of your life.
Yeah.
The reason why they hurt us so bad and stay with us so bad in real life is because we only live so long. Like, humans live usually less than 100 years. So if your mom dies when you're like 40, 50, 60, something like that, that is, you know, most of your life. Like, she was around for most of your life, right? So unless your mom dies extremely, when, you know, unfortunately, when you're very, very young, you're like 15, your mom dies, and you live to be like 80, and even then, I don't think that that's long enough. What we're talking about, and I think what Kenny's talking about here is like, if your parents died in your regular life, but you live forever, so they died when you're like 60 years old, right? It's totally normal time for around when parents start kicking a bucket. I'm 60, parents probably like 80, 90. That's around the time when they're going to start kicking a bucket, sometimes earlier, sometimes later. Anyways, they die, but you live another 6,000 years.
Yeah.
Like, that first 60 years of your life where your parents died, now such a small portion of your life. Like, that's such a small, and yes, you will probably remember them forever and all of that, but I do think, because even regular deaths that happen, you eventually, like, not get over completely, but you do.
Yeah, it's not that you get over it, but you move on with your life. Like, you eventually you have to, as like they say, the world keeps turning, your life goes on. You have to go back to work. You got to go back and do all these things, and you have those moments where you have fun again. You go, look, you have fun and laugh and smile, you know, and all that stuff. But sometimes when you're alone and it's quiet, you'll think about them and you'll be sad. But the point is, like, it eventually, like, with every day, the pain becomes less. But it never goes away, but it becomes less. And so, like, in the span of 6,000 years, like, yeah, it'll still be there. You'll still remember it, but like, you'll, you know, be doing other things and have so many other experiences and lived so long that you've done all of these different things.
60 years out of 6,000, less than 1% of your life. Like, that is less than 1%. Like, you know, it's less than 1% of your life.
Yeah.
So
immortality.
Immortality is crazy. Okay, so he also says, I would want to be a waterbender. I'm creative, resourceful, and adaptive. To best use waterbending, you got to be all three of those things. Thanks, Danglin and Ziggy. And he said, P.S. Picking anything overtly godlike is cheesy. So funny. We don't, you know, we have to be true to ourselves.
I don't think between the two of us, we had one suggestion that wasn't overtly godlike.
Yes.
Like, the Sharingan is godlike, especially if it upgrades to the Rinnegan, Kizaru, time control, perfect hypnosis, immortality. Listen, I don't know what to tell you.
And I purposely read this listener letter the way I did. I didn't read the whole thing and then go back. I read it in sections because I wanted us to just be, like, honest about our answer. Hey guys, if you like this clip, we have full video versions of our podcast episodes available on the IMNerd Patreon, as well as exclusive content.
If you'd like to listen to our full podcast episodes or find us on any other social media platforms, you can do so by clicking the link tree below.